Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna. Today we're reviewing the new Natasha Denona mini retro palette. This retails for $25. You get 5 shades, so it's like you're paying $5 per shade. The pan size are tiny. They're pretty much just big enough to fit your brush in, but it's definitely travel friendly. The smallest palette I have next to me is this really small and mini from Makeup Revolution. It's their new peach palette. So it's pretty much the same height, but I think the pan sizes are way smaller. So maybe that'll give you kind of a comparison. I feel like these are more closer to like a regular sized pan, and the Natasha Denona is a little bit smaller. So I picked this up because I was very interested in the color story. I've never tried Natasha Denona in my life. It's just so expensive. But I've always been interested in trying a mini, and they are mini. But it's also my birthday month, so I wanted to get my Sephora birthday gift. I chose the Brazilian Bum Bum cream and the Coco Cabana cream, and it comes with both of them, and they're just so tiny and cute. They're so small. Look at this. So, I mean, it'll take no time to go through these, but still cute nonetheless. Also wanted to use my reward points, and I bought the, well, not bought, but I used my reward points for this Aqua Duo. I love the Belief Aqua Balm cream. It's just amazing. It's intense moisture if you have really dry skin. True cream Aqua Balm, and it just dries so quickly. It just, your skin soaks it in so fast. And then it came with the Aqua Balm Jelly Cleanser, and I used it today and I really liked it. It really made my face feel clean without over drying it. But anyways, this is not what the review is about. I just thought I'd share with you guys what else I picked up and kind of what made me even more interested in picking this up other than doing a review for you guys. I loved how muted these colors were, just beautiful muted colors for spring. It really reminded me of the lighter version of my Give Me Glow palette called Vintage Rose. I did a full in-depth review on this if you want to see it, but this is from an indie makeup brand, and I love this palette, especially for fall, because you have a lot of deeper tones, but you don't really have very many transition shades. The only transition shade you really get is this bright pink, so I feel like these two together would actually work out so nicely. And the green ended up being a lot darker in the Give Me Glow palette than I thought, and I feel like these two would just honestly work so well together for transition shades, for the deeper shades, and for the green. So that is something that I was like, wow, these two look like they go hand in hand. It's just beautiful. So let's go ahead and swatch these shades. This first one is called Pixie, and it feels like butter. I'm gonna get into the demo in a little bit, but first let's swatch these. This one literally looks wet. Beautiful wetness. It's pretty sheer, but just so shiny and intense. It is pink, and it does have kind of hot pink or purple, just multi-dimensional flecks of glitter in it. This next one is called Vintage Taupe. Oh, that's so soft. I haven't felt these yet because I only demoed it so far. This is just kind of a good mauve, grayish, beige transition shade. So smooth, so soft. That one also performed really well. This next one is called 60s. It feels really soft, actually. I did struggle a little bit in the demo with this shade. I don't know, maybe it's just because it's green. It swatches all right though. So there's that. And this green shade next to that is called Industrial. This one's a beautiful, how would you describe this? Just like a silvery green? I don't know. It's beautiful though. I don't know if I have a green like this in my collection. And then the last shade, which I haven't touched or used, is called Galaxia. And it's just like this nice, pretty, it's not as intense as the first pink. This one has more actual pigment to it. It's more like a peachy pink. So the shimmer on that one is a lot less subtle but beautiful. I love this color story. $25, like paying $5 each shade. I do feel like you can get a few of these shades in the So Jaded palette, not maybe exact dupes, but similar ones. So Jaded palette, you actually have this kind of olive green called Jade, and I'll swatch that above it. It is definitely more, has more yellow background, and this one's more of that like grayy olive. And then you have some really shiny, like this one is called Diamond, and this one kind of reminds me of this really shimmery shade that's like, I don't know, very wet looking. Obviously not exact, but just saying that you can get some, you probably could get a similar look out of this palette. And then you have Rose Quartz, which kind of reminds me of that transition shade because it's a little bit more of a pinkier. I know that there's nothing like this shade in it, and I don't know if there's anything like this peach shade, but this one's going to be too orangey. This one's called Sunstone, and it's too orange, but you probably could add like Moonstone on top. Moonstone might be more similar to it. Not a dupe, but you can get some few similar shades. Like I said, I don't have anything like that shade in my collection that I can think of off the top of my head. We're gonna go ahead and get into the demo now. We're gonna start this off using the e.l.f. Eye Putty Primer just because it is, I'm sorry, Travis is home, which is great, but back to all the growling and roughhousing you hear upstairs in my videos all the time. We are going to start off with the only shade you can kind of use as a transition color, which is this shade here. Is that Vintage Taupe? I don't know. So it's not super powdery. There is a little bit of kick up so far. So let's see. Okay. Pigmented, going on nicely. This reminds me of the Sugar Pill shade I used just yesterday in my 3 Looks in 1, actually. In the C3, there's a shade just like this. I really like it. It's kind of like a beigey mauve type of shade. It's just great for a transition, especially for more pinky looks. Taking that same shade under the eye. It does build very nicely, so far the quality is good, thank goodness. That blended really nicely, it built really nicely, not too much fallout and kickback. Okay, next we're going into the green matte shade, which I'm really excited for. I haven't swatched any of these yet. This one's called 60s. And it's just this green color, and we're going to go in with this Morphe brush. Seems to be picking up pretty good. Still tiny bit of kickback, but this one's a little bit slightly more dusty, so. But this looks like a very pretty like army green. So this is like a grungy kind of olivey green, and it's not really coming off my brush that great, honestly. And I dug pretty good into there, so this might have to be one you have to build up. Yeah, if you don't tap it off, it goes on fine. Maybe it's this brush. Let's try a different brush. This shade is kind of having a little bit of problems. I can't really blend it out that great. So I was really excited for this shade too. I'm going to put some underneath the eye. Like this was the one I was like super, like I'm going to have to use, ooh, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's because of the primer I used. Maybe it would have worked better without the e.l.f. Putty Primer. I'm having a hard time blending the shade out, and considering you're paying $5 per shadow, this one to me is just not the best formula. Like I wouldn't say this shadow's worth $5 just because I'm having a hard time working with it. Now this is what I'm super excited for, are the shimmers. They look gorgeous. We're gonna go into this green called Vintage, no, this one's called Industrial. See, shimmery green. And first we're gonna try it on a dry brush and see how it goes. So it picked it up pretty well. And it looks like it's gonna be, okay. Here are the stars of the shows, they're shimmers. The shimmer. You don't need to wet these. Nope, it's great. The shimmer is amazing. Amazing. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's a really beautiful, yeah, I love it. It kind of also covers up the patchier parts of that green as well, so it's not as like in your face. Oh, this is so good. Okay, the shimmer might make it all worth it in the end. Maybe, we'll see. If the other shimmers perform this great, then might be a fan. Might be a fan. Alright, next we are going to go into this extra super shimmery shade called Pixie, and this one looks kind of duochrome. Ooh. Ooh, it feels so nice. We're going to try that on a dry brush as well. The shimmers pick up really well, I must say, and I mean, I'm pretty picky with my shimmers, I feel like. Okay, that's like glossy. It looks wet. This is probably one of my favorite shimmer formulas. So here is the finished results. Doing the other eye, I feel like this happens a lot. Sometimes I struggle while I'm filming with a certain shade, and then I do the other eye off camera, and for some reason the shade I was struggling with, I'm not struggling with it anymore. So I was super struggling with the green off camera. It was a little less patchy. It still was like more difficult to blend, but I feel like it went on nicer. So maybe it was just getting through that first layer initially, because then it picked it up and it went on a lot more smooth and it was a little bit easier to blend, but I still do think it's a little bit hard to blend. But it worked so much easier on that eye. I still don't think that that specific shadow is necessarily worth $5, but I think it's definitely still workable. I really hate to admit this. I went in kind of having like, this was $25 and these pans are so small. Like, this better be the best formula I've ever used in my life for $25. Otherwise, I'm not going to recommend it at all, because you can buy a full-size ColourPop palette for way more shades. So the mattes are good. I don't think they're anything groundbreaking, but the shimmers, that's a different story. They're groundbreaking. They are some of the best shimmers. The only other intense eyeshadow shimmers I've ever used that intense are from Alter Ego, and they dupe Natasha Denona quite a bit. I do have a code with them. I don't make any money from it, but it's just glitter and you can save 20% off. They don't have a dupe for any of the minis yet. They might in the future, but they do have a few other dupes, and those shimmers are so intense and buttery, and they really remind me of these shimmers. But yeah, I did not have to wet my brush, which you guys know if you watch my channel frequently, I always have to wet my brush or use a glitter glue, especially for ColourPop formula. These just picked up so nicely, especially these two. Honestly, I feel like these first two, this one is just so wet looking and intense, and this green, so beautiful, no problems. I feel like this peachy one will be a little bit less like, wow, that's amazing. I feel like it's gonna be kind of like a normal shimmer, but we'll see. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Have you tried Natasha Denona? What are some of your favorites? And let me know.